morning. It is Tuesday, April 21st, 2015. This is your morning edition on I-24 News. Coming up later today, Islamic State militants advance on Anbar province as new details emerge about the jihadist group's origins. The world prepares to mark a century since the Armenian Genocide. And later on the show, something lighter and deep. A new study reveals the science behind close ties between man and his best friend. Good morning, I'm Yael Avi, and we begin with the latest from Iraq, where advances by Islamic State militants in the Anbar province, 100 kilometers west of Baghdad, have forced tens of thousands of people to flee their homes in terror. Iraqi government forces are preparing to mount a counter-offensive to reverse the jihadist advances on the eastern edge of Ramadi. But some of the displaced people said they felt abandoned by the government, who won't let them into the capital. Meanwhile, new details have emerged regarding the origins of the murderous Sunni group after documents laying out a blueprint for the establishment of the Islamic Caliphate in Syria were published by the German magazine Der Spiegel. The documents were the work of a man identified by the magazine as Samir Abd Muhammad al-Khalifawi, a former colonel in the intelligence service of Saddam Hussein's air defense force, who went by the alias Haji Bakr. The detailed plans surfaced in the Syrian city of Aleppo, where rebels seized them after Islamic State forces were forced to abandon their headquarters there in early 2014. We're joined in studio by I-24 News senior Middle East analyst Ali Waqid. Ali, good morning to you. First, though, let's go straight to Iraq, where we're joined by from Erbil, northern Iraq, where journalist Mohammed Salia is standing by. Mohammed, good morning to you.
Good morning to you too.
Now, looking at the advances currently by the Iraqi army, that's a contentious term to say, the Iraqi army. When we're looking at what ISIS is doing right now this morning, where does the battle against ISIS stand in Iraq?
Well, the Iraqi forces, which is basically a combination of whatever is remaining of the army and also some of the local tribal forces, have been basically engaging in a counter-offensive over the past few days. And they have been actually claiming some victory in the provincial capital of Anbar, which is Ramadi. But they have not really had any sort of major victory so far. So the battle is still ongoing in Anbar.
Now, the fact of the matter is, in Iraq, or so it seems, that ISIS is pushed out of one section and immediately infiltrates another. Is there concern? I mean, as opposed to, let's say, northern Iraq, where you're at, but when we're looking at Tikrit and what happened in Tikrit, and now the move out of Tikrit into Ramadi, are they getting closer to Baghdad? Is there concern about that when it comes to their advances in Iraq?
Absolutely. Well, in the northern front, the situation has been more or less stable over the past few weeks, or actually the past few months, even where the Kurdish Peshmerga forces are positioned. But in Anbar, which is sort of the soft, the soft belly or the weak point of the Iraqi armed forces, ISIS seems to have had a lot more success. And it is also very interesting that this has been a battle, a fight full of ups and downs. And ISIS has always tried to seize the initiative. Even when they lose it in one part of the country, they try to attack in another part. So this is not really a very predictable fight in that sense.
In that sense, just stay with us, Mohammed. I want to check with you, Ali, because when we're looking at Tikrit, and I'm just theorizing out loud here, Tikrit is fairly close to the Iranian border. It's fairly in that area, so to speak. And there, the battle to get ISIS out took approximately 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I think it was, as opposed to Kobani. But when it comes to the Iraqi army closer within Iraq, it's them alone fighting ISIS. Is it harder for them? Does it show us that the Iraqi army needs assistance from other militaries or other countries?
Indeed, yeah, they need assistance, and we saw how in Tikrit they waited weeks until they succeeded to penetrate the city. after the coalition agreed to carry out airstrikes against the Islamic State bases and Islamic State militants. And before taking over Tikrit, Haider al-Abadi said that if the United States are not willing to participate in the airstrike, will be capable to take over Tikrit, and they were not. And by the end of the day, without the collaboration of the United States and the coalition forces from the air, there is no way that the Iraqi army will be capable to take over any city apparently in Iraq. And this will bring us, I guess, to the second part of our discussion about the sources of the Islamic State coming from their officers and leaders coming from the Ba'ath Party and the former army in Iraq.
And the former army. But do you think, Mohammed, before we move along, do you believe, Mohammed, that there is a chance for, ISIS to be combated, not in northern Iraq, as I think I'm talking about Iraq proper, the rest of Iraq. There is a chance for the Iraqi army, without assistance, without boots on the ground by a foreign component, to combat ISIS and stop this spread as you described?
I'm not sure really whether they will need boots on the ground. The Iraqi government has been quite clear that they don't want boots on the ground, but as far as assistance in other ways, by providing heavy weaponry or training and advising the Iraqi forces, they definitely seem to need quite a lot of help. And also the mobilization of the Shia paramilitary forces has also been very helpful in restoring some sort of confidence on the part of Iraqi forces. And by that I mean the combined regular army and those paramilitary forces. So this has had really some impact in terms of restoring confidence in the performance of those forces. And despite the earlier days of the fight where they really didn't do well, they now seem to be having some success.
Some successes.
Yeah, we saw the real capacity and force of the Iraqi army in what happened in Mosul, and how quickly the big city of Mosul fall into the hand of the Islamic State. We have two examples. Kobane, without the intervention of the Kurdish forces on the ground. And by the way, when we talk about
weeks,
by the way, when we talk about boots on the ground, it doesn't mean necessarily foreign forces, but this combination between airstrikes and an efficient force on the ground that is capable to face the Islamic State is apparently the only solution. And when it comes to the Iraqi army, it appears that they are not enough strong and they are not enough trained to face the Islamic State, because in Kobane it was the Kurdish Peshmerga, and in Tikrit, what our guest from Erbil defined as paramilitary forces, which are the Shiite militias, some of them coming from Iran and elsewhere, supported the Iraqi official forces. Without this combination of strong forces on the ground and airstrikes from the international coalition, it seems that the Iraqi army by itself is not capable to face the Islamic State. And we are now learning that the Islamic State was deeply trained by professional forces. By
professional fighters. We're going to get to that shortly. Mohammed, I want to thank you from Erbil for joining us this morning. Let's take a look at the following report that takes us back to the present and the constantly expanding global reach of ISIS, because it's not just Iraq, it's ISIS all over the world, so it seems. But their reach globally, before we break down the origins, as was revealed yesterday. Let's have a look.
From Paris through Copenhagen, all the way to Sydney and Minnesota, the sophisticated use of social media and charismatic radical ideas keeps attracting youth from the West to join terror groups, mostly the Islamic State organization. Most recently, the FBI arrested at least 6 people in what officials allege is an IS-inspired terror plot. Authorities in Minnesota and San Diego joined forces with the FBI in a year-long investigation and have been tracking youth who have traveled to Syria or tried to in order to fight alongside militants. The terror recruitment network focused on the Somali community in the Minneapolis area, where authorities noted that a handful of Minnesota residents, more than 22 young Somali men since 2007, have already traveled to Syria to fight with militants within the last year. At least one of them was killed. In Europe, the phenomenon is even bigger, and EU officials estimate that some 6,000 individuals have left for Syria. This is a rough approximation, as it is extremely difficult to keep track on foreign Muslim fighters in the Syrian theater. The UN paints an even more disturbing picture, saying there are more than 25,000 foreign fighters from over 100 countries who left their homes to join mainly Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group in Iraq and Syria, the largest number of foreign fighters in history. But the major challenges both in Europe and in the US are yet to come. What will happen when all of those young Western militants return home, driven to recruit more potential fighters, spread their extremist ideals, and maybe even carry out actual terror acts?
For what appears to be new revelations as to the rise of ISIS in wake of the battle in Iraq, today we're also joined from London by Charlie Winter, researcher at Quilliam. Good morning to you, Charlie.
Good morning.
And, of course, still with us, Ali Wakid, I-24 News senior Middle East analyst. Charlie, I want to start with you. I'm assuming you got a chance to take a look at the report that came out in Der Spiegel yesterday, and that is actually what seems to be a very well-planned, years ago, blueprint of what is happening right now, trailing back basically to the Baathists, to the people, the military of Saddam Hussein, who seem to have been disgruntled and then formed ISIS. But does this, in your educated opinion, when we look at what the ISIS is today, okay, this is a master plan or a blueprint or something that was organized in advance?
Well, I think that Islamic State in Syria today is something that was largely organized in advance, and certainly that the report is fascinating. It confirmed lots of things which people had suspected for a long time about the involvement of, the use of state structures and intelligence structures that are akin to Saddam Hussein's Iraq within the political machinery of Islamic State. So that is something very important, and it's also very good counter-messaging for Islamic State that there are such important similarities between its political machinery and that of Saddam Hussein, a secular ruler who is much hated by a lot of people in the region. So yeah, I do think that to an extent this is planned. Of course, plans change, but I think the particular rise of Islamic State in Syria, the way that it formed alliances among certain groups, the way that it broke alliances between other groups and targeted specific militias that it thought would be a danger to it. These are all very important things that I do think had a lot of planning in mind for them.
Well, do stay with us, Charlie. Though, Ali, I want to check with you because you mentioned specifically Syria, but Ali, I mean, I'm wondering with you. I'm assuming that you saw that report in Der Spiegel and what it trails back to. I mean, I'm looking at it, and if you just look at the origins, is that this is disgruntled Baathists, disgruntled Saddam Hussein fighters, who were pushed out of the formation of the Iraqi army, or at the time. And then this is the revenge plan in many ways, in Syria specifically?
Yeah, in the last days there were reports whether Izzat Adori, the number 2 of the Iraqi regime, the vice president, was killed or was not killed in the clashes between the Iraqi army and the Islamic State, not between the Iraqi army and the former Baath parties, which shows that the link between the Islamic State and the former Baath militants and generals of the Iraqi army. There was no doubt at the very beginning of the American invasion, the former leaders, elements of the Iraqi army identified the potential of an Islamic movement to collect maximum elements in Iraq, anti-American at the beginning and anti-Shiite at the second place, that can fight side by side with the Iraqi former official apparatus of the Baath party in order to cause casualties to the Americans and then and to the Iraqi government. The professionalism in which the Islamic State operated left no space to imagination. They were not only young coming from Brussels and from Egypt and from Saudi Arabia, and then formed this huge army that was capable to take this amount of territories in both Iraq and Syria. But whether it was a master plan, I'm not sure with the small details, but it is, yes, a combination, a very clever combination that was made between trained, professional, and very experimented and experienced people in the Iraqi regime, and between young that were very much motivated to join a new organization, a new Islamic organization that had for goal to fight both the Americans and the Shiite race.
I'm wondering a lot with you. I want to take us back for a second to 2003, because they were very well trained, the Baathists. They were very well trained Saddam forces. Why were they excluded from the formation of the Iraqi army? Because the Iraqi army to this day still needs training, as we heard from Muhammad, and those people were trained and on the ground.
Because, you know, there are two theories, whether the American gave up in front of this demand of the Shiite majority in Iraq to erase anything that had any link to the past, or especially to the Ba'ath Party, or the minority voices, some of them represented by Paul Bremer, by the way, that were not enthusiastic to see the Iraqi army dismantled, because not every member of the Iraqi army was a Ba'ath, very much committed person. And this was, I think, the very big mistake that started all this phenomenon of the Islamic State, dismantling the Iraqi army, throwing to the streets tens of thousands and maybe hundreds of thousands of officers, soldiers that had no salary for all of a sudden, no income, and needed to see a frame in which they need to operate. And of course, the revenge, and of course, the fear from the Shiite majority, and of course, the need to act against forces that invaded Iraq, plus the training, plus the Saddam Hussein invested so much in his intelligence services, and he invested so much in the presidential guard, or the in the Republican guard, and these people were thrown to the street, but nobody then knew what they are going to make. Some of them were taken into Abu Ghraib prison and other, but you could not throw into prisons hundreds of thousands of Iraqi soldiers.
Iraqi soldiers. Charlie, in your first answer, you seemed a little bit, distant from the idea that, this was actually masterminded in Iraq. You say that in Syria, it looks like the modus operandi of the former Saddam Ba'athist, I'm going to call them the former Saddam fighters, so to speak, just to make it clear. What do you think then happened in Iraq? Is that really the case, that ISIS rose from this organization of really disgruntled soldiers that had nothing to do?
Well, I think that certainly they drew a very large amount of their recruits from this pool of disgruntled fighters. But I think that it is perhaps reductive to lay it all on that. I mean, certainly Islamic State is a jihadist group, and certainly there are a range of people who are members of its ranks. And I think that there are a lot of Baathists, neo-Baathists, who have joined it as an expression of their rejection of the status quo. But I do also think that there are a lot of people who are jihadist ideologues. So one thing that I do take slight issue with in Der Spiegel is I think that Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, for example, is painted as a nationalist. I do think that he is a committed jihadist, and I think that perhaps he has changed since Hisham al-Hishami, who's the analyst who's quoted, saying that first expressed those ideas. But I think that in Iraq, certainly the breakup of the Iraqi army is central to this, and it does provide Islamic State now, the military apparatus of Islamic State now, with a lot of technical prowess and professionalism. Right. And the same can be said for the intelligence services. And I think that intelligence here is very important. One of the most important things to take away from the article, in fact, I think that it demonstrates that Islamic State, yes, it is playing at being a state, but one thing that it does very well is sow discord between people, create a sense of insecurity, and a sense that if you go against the party line, if you like, you'll be in trouble. And that's something that was definitely borrowed and inherited from Saddam Hussein's Iraq.
Who inherited from many other dictators in the past. But Charlie Winter from Quilliam, researcher at Quilliam Institute in London, thank you for joining us. Ali, thank you for being with us here this morning as we move along. For the rest of the news of mayhem and destruction, we are joined by Ami Kaufman, not to make light of the situation. It's just, we are still broadcasting from the Middle East. We're joined by Ami Kaufman for anything and everything that is that we need to know today.
Right, we're going to go to the tragedy in the Mediterranean that happened on Sunday. A few quick updates. Looks like the number of migrants that died has risen to 950.
That is a ridiculous,
first it was reported about 700
number.
people, now it's 950. There were two separate incidents yesterday as well, where 23 more people died in just 2 other capsized boats. Interesting though, the Italian police arrested 2 survivors from the first major drowning, which are believed to be the captain of the boat and 1 crew member. So they're arrested. Now, it looks like this is a real game changer, and the EU is...
Do we think so? I mean, because the numbers are high enough, I agree. I mean, I was thinking this morning, is this a game changer or not?
Well, first of all, the EU seems to be tackling it in various ways. They met, they had an emergency meeting with the foreign ministers and other people yesterday. On Thursdays, there's going to be another meeting of EU leaders I think it's in Luxembourg as well. And they're already setting out a 10-point sort of a package, which will include basically bolstering Triton, which is the patrolling service. And
one would hope, because I mean, if we're looking at these numbers, and this continues, and both Ali and I know that the Middle East is going to keep churning out refugees trying to get to European shores. Then at this rate, statistically, we're looking at a summer of 30,000 people dead in the Mediterranean. That one would hope. Yes.
Well, I think that what they have to deal with, and what they're realizing now in the EU, is that it's not only what they have to do, they have to deal with Libya. Because the problem is that human smugglers are really taking the advantage of the political situation in Libya right now, where there's basically no government to tackle this issue.
No, which makes me wonder, Ali, can Libya be tackled? How can Europe tackle Libya? Is Libya gone? Is Libya, destitute because ISIS is there, beheading people, etc., whatnot. We're seeing these storms of refugees trying to get to the shores of Europe. And Libya, nobody talks about that much anymore.
And Libya, that became a source of armed industry, is becoming also a source of mediators in passing the migrants from other places in Africa to Mediterranean Europe. This is why I don't think how the EU or the international community will be capable to stop this flow of migrants and to try to deal with this industry that is becoming more and more big and dangerous in Libya, with the financial situation and especially with the security situation in Libya that is far in the past became a no-man land.
Yes, moving along.
The Boston Marathon took place yesterday. First of all, the winner was Lalisa DeCisa, who won it last year as well. Last year, he donated his medal to the city. After the bombing. It's interesting. This marathon.
2 years since?
The marathon took place during the trial of Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, who is on trial for killing 3 people and injuring 264 people. And today, the trial will be renewed, and attorneys will present some witnesses trying to convince or not convince the jury if he should receive the death penalty or not, or sit.
That's what's on the agenda.
That's what's on the agenda. Now, what's interesting is that 4 victims of the bombing, 4 representatives of their families as well, are against giving him the death penalty. They want him to sit in jail.
It is Boston, after all.
It is Boston. That's true.
It is Boston,
that is very
after
true.
all. Yeah, in many ways. Yes.
Moving on to Iran, the Washington Post's Tehran bureau chief, Jason Rezaian, he's been in jail for 9 months already, and this is the first time that he has seen a lawyer, and this is why we know that he is being charged with espionage, with collaborating with hostile governments, and propaganda against the establishment.
This was a fascinating point. We also have the White House spokesperson,
right, the
Josh
White House responded to these charges.
Reacting to it, because I want to touch on this for a second. Let's see what Josh Ernst had to say about this, about this upcoming trial.
If the reports are true, these charges are absurd, should be immediately dismissed, and Jason should be freed immediately so that he can return home to his family. Ongoing effort to try to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon through diplomacy will not, if it succeeds, resolve the wide range of other concerns we have about Iranian behavior.
Okay, so first of all, the story about this journalist, he's a Washington Post journalist,
Washington
right?
Post journalist, and he was arrested with his wife, but she was released on bail. But he's been sitting in that prison for 9 months already, and this is the first time that he's seen an attorney, and that's how we know about these charges.
No, which is, and I'm looking at this trial. If this man is executed, and I'm assuming, Ali, he will not be executed, Washington.
We don't know if he'll be executed, but apparently the judge in this case, Abul Qasim Salvati, his name, is really known for giving out very harsh sentences. So
this could be a deal breaker. I mean, I do not see the Americans signing a deal with Iran if they execute an American reporter.
Yeah, absolutely, and I don't think that the Iranian will execute him. They are well known for using these cards until the end of the day, and this will be the case. And in the past, we saw them arresting Western and American reporters, some of them Iranian origin residents, but at the end of the day, they released everybody.
Not gonna. Yes.
Right.
And
back to Israel. A Jewish Israeli stabbed an Arab worker here in Herzliya yesterday while crying death to Arabs. 27-year-old man, a street cleaner of the municipality, an Arab man, was stabbed, mildly wounded. It's not the first time that we've seen lately, actually, some Jewish that are taking the laws into their hands and hurting people, hurting Arabs.
The reversal of the knife, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah. Terror,
tit for tat.
Tit for tat. Terror goes both ways.
Right. Hope we don't see any more of that. Paris. I don't remember how old he is. He's 90-something already.
He's 173.
The Israeli paper, The Marker, has an investigation, an exclusive, saying that Bank Poalim says he will pay Paris $30,000 a month, a whopping $30,000 a month.
To do what?
To basically consult them on their business overseas, to promote the business overseas.
We know what that spells. That means, we'd like you to travel overseas and be the face of Banca Poalim, that we can pull out Shimon Peres, who, by the way, distinguished, incredible political career, shares the same gene with my mother. He's probably going to live forever. But
he will be traveling overseas because the bank is doing an event in his honor. Okay, they're paying him and doing an event in his honor in New York at the end of May at the Museum of Natural History. That's a really prestigious venue.
So many things I could say about that, but I'm going to leave it at that. Sadly, all the time we have. But Ami, thank you so much for that. Of course, Ali Waked as well. When we get back, the world prepares to mark 100 years since the Armenian Genocide. We'll take a closer look at what that means and who's battling about that terminology of what exactly happened a century ago. First, though, let's hear some more of the morning headlines. Welcome back, I-24 News Morning Edition, the place you should be on this April 21st. And thank you for staying with us, because the next topic is important and not discussed that much. As Armenians gear up to mark 100 years since the start of what they term a genocide, memories of the tragedy are still being kept vividly alive from generation to generation. Armenians say up to 1.5 million of their kin were killed between 1915 and 1917 during the dying days of the Ottoman Empire, and have long sought to win international recognition of the massacres as a genocide. Now, Turkey rejects the claims, arguing that 300,000 to 500,000 people died in a civil strife when Armenians rose up against their Ottoman rulers and sided with invading Russian troops. The question of what transpired remains a deeply disputed one, even 100 years later. Just last week, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan took Pope Francis to task after he used the term genocide to describe the killings. Let's listen to what the Pope and the Turkish leader had to say and take it from there.
La nostra umanità.
The past century, our human family has lived through 3 massive and unprecedented tragedies.
Che generalmente viene
The first, which is widely considered by many the first genocide of the 20th century struck your own Armenian people.
Papa François'nın
I am deeply saddened by Pope Francis's statements describing shared pains of Armenians and Muslims that took place in this geography 100 years ago as genocide. When politicians and religious leaders attempt to do the job of historians, they will not achieve the truth, but only delusion. I want to repeat our call for a joint commission. I want to stress we are ready to open our archives, and I want to warn the Pope not to repeat this mistake again and condemn him.
We're joined in studio by the spokesperson of the Armenian Culture and Education Center in Israel, Meni Kosonsky. Meni, good morning to you.
Good morning.
And also by Channel 2 Senior Foreign Affairs Editor Arad Nir. Arad, good morning to you. I want to start with you quickly before we go to another report. Why, to this day, 100 years? I mean, Erdogan, I guess it's no surprise that he would argue, but he would take on the Pope at this point. But why 100 years on still this dispute?
Politics. Have you heard this word before?
Yeah.
It's all a matter of politics. It's semantics that is being leaded by politics. And just to clear my point or to verify my assumption, the latest update regarding this is that the German Bundestag is going to accept the term genocide this year. We are anticipating President Obama's speech in 2 days to come, just before the Memorial Day. Maybe he will use what is being called in Turkey now the G word. If we're talking politics, it means that Turkey's political position worldwide is in decline. This is why everybody accepts this term. Coming to the basics of it, I think the main dispute is terminology, which leads to responsibility, which is being led again by politics. This is how we draw the whole circle.
The whole picture. And before we continue this, let's also take a look at the report that looks at the challenges of the Armenian community in Istanbul, in Turkey, when we speak about politics, and what exactly stands behind that assumption, which I tend to agree with, of Aradnia. Let's have a look.
It's recess time for the kids at this school in the heart of Istanbul. Their chatter is both in Turkish and Armenian. The Karagazian school is one of 20 Armenian schools in the city. Its 200 pupils follow a Turkish and an Armenian program, plus religious instruction. For Easter, bunnies and eggs have appeared in the classrooms, proof that the teaching of Armenian culture has become possible again, a century after the massacre of hundreds of thousands of Armenians by the Ottoman Empire.
We celebrate our holidays together. We have teachers of Turkish culture, and we try to celebrate their holidays and our holidays together. We try to live this double culture, and of course we invite the families.
Yasmin is picking up her 2 children, Moon and Sun. The family lives a few streets away in the Bamonti neighborhood, where Muslims and Armenians live together in harmony. The family members speak Armenian among themselves, including in the street, a sign that Armenians now feel more at ease.
When I was younger, we kept everything hidden. We couldn't speak Armenian in the street. We never took that risk. But at home, of course, we did, in secret. When I was in primary school, I remember my father insisting that we should take Armenian lessons at home. It was important for him that we should speak Armenian at home.
The Rostomian family arrived in the Black Sea region of Amasya in the 1950s. Yasmin likes to look at photographs of her great-grandfather who was killed in 1915. She hopes that this year's commemorations will be a chance to talk more freely about her people's tragic history that the Turks have kept under wraps, but she feels should now own up to.
Perhaps I'm wrong, but I'd like them to say, "Dear Yasmin, for our failings." But of course, they don't know what happened back then.
Turkey still does not recognize the genocide, and it can't be mentioned in history books. Anyone who does bring it up risks going to prison for insulting Turkey.
Many Korsonsky, the spokesman for the Armenian Culture and Education Center in Israel, if we look at that report, first of all, you are the spokesman for the Armenian community. There are about, what, 10,000 Armenians in Israel?
I'm a spokesman of the Armenian Center of Culture and Education. I'm not going to take the part of being a messiah of Armenians in Israel.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
but there are 10,000 approximately Armenians.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah. Is it? And you just told us a story, both myself and Arad, off camera, about how hard it is to try and maintain the memory, or the claim, as we talk about, of the genocide, that you actually, there was a website that the Turkish just put down that you put up, isn't it?
Right.
What was that? Tell me the story.
Well, we opened a website which is genocide.org.il, which had all the information regarding the history of what happened, and if you read, you will see that it was actually a genocide well planned in some stages, which is not a massacre or whatever for victims like the Turkish claim. It was a planned genocide that started in the time of the Sultan Abdul Hamid II, and continued to. It was actually developed by the Young Turks Party when they came in rule. In the beginning, they said that we want to accept the Armenians and the Greeks and everybody who lives in the Ottoman Empire as equals. But, what they promised...
Is not what actually happened.
Yes.
But you put all this information, let's say, and then what happened to this website?
The website has been under attacks, consistent attacks, about 2 months, and in the recent 3-4 days, the site came down. Our website came down because the Turkish hackers eventually did succeed in their mission, unfortunately.
Now, Arad, I just want to touch with you on this. I mean, this is going to great length, be it not just Erdogan or Turkish hackers or whatnot. You say politics, but behind that, is what? The fear that it will tarnish Turkey's, reputation, or that the Armenians may come out with a claim of restitution, or that they want something back?
No, I think it's mainly moral responsibility that the Turks are reluctant to take. There may be, if this will be accepted, there may be some further consequences, reparations, etc. But I don't think this is the main issue. It's a principal issue by the Turks that they don't want to accept responsibility for this. During the days of the nationalistic Republic of Turkey, which was originated after First World War, this was a matter of a national pride. Right. Now, when the AKP party, the Islamist party, came into power with their neo-Ottomanist aspirations, inspiration and aspiration, both, yes. I think they should have taken more responsibility regarding these issues of the Armenians during the First World War. Apparently they did. Last year, then Prime Minister Erdogan, for the first time, actually sort of apologized to the Armenian people regarding the mass killing and the horrific times that they had to go through.
Not using
he
the word
wouldn't
genocide.
accept the G word again, the word genocide. It was not accepted by the Armenians. The Armenians said that it's not enough. They want the acceptance of the term genocide, as many just said here, that this was an institutionalized killing meant to eliminate the existence of the Armenian people within the Ottoman Empire. Yeah. They are not willing to accept it. They're not willing to accept responsibility for it more now than before, because they see themselves now as the ones who continue the legacy of the Ottoman Empire. So it's getting more difficult to accept this. On the other hand, the Turks are trying to show now that they are sort of a multicultural society again. They make many gestures towards the Jewish Turks and also towards the Armenian Turks. They are building again old churches, Armenian churches that have been demolished over the years by neglect, etc. But it's not enough. This is not
it's not
what
the recognition. It's not the using the word. We're also
yes.
joined on the phone quickly by Dr. Isaac Lubelski, an expert on genocide studies from the Open University. Good morning to you, Dr. Lubelski. I understand you're also on your way to a conference on the Armenian genocide right now. Why? I mean, to me, the horrific thing is when 1.5 million people are dead, this battle 100 years on, how to define, their death. How can this even be changed? The debate, even a conference on genocide.
Well, good morning. This question is quite complex, actually. Since for many years now, there's a very serious debate going on in regards to the Armenian genocide all over the world, or at least in several.
No, but we
countries.
said as politics, we see the political argument behind it. As Radnil said, this is it's a political ping point. In the conference that you're on your way to, for example, right now, who attends it, and what is the attempt of trying to bring it forth to, for other countries to use the word genocide?
Well, first of all, Yael, I believe this is not only a mere political discussion or debate, since if you're regarding the state of Israel, there are several other issues that need to be taken into account. First of all, you have to remember that the state of Israel dedicates itself for more than 60 years to the memory of the Holocaust and to the preservation of that memory. And I believe that many people in Israel find it really difficult to acknowledge other genocides because of the Jewish Holocaust. So this is not a definite political issue regarding the relationships with Turkey, etc., but has to do also with other aspects. In regards to the political issue, well, I believe that this is indeed a very complex issue, and there is a certain equation that's taking place for the last 30, 40 years since the first Israelis have tried to acknowledge the Armenian genocide. And the relationships with Turkey seems to be almost sacred through the glance of Israeli politicians. This seems to be changing right now. In the last week, we've heard so many politicians discussing the Armenian genocide and saying that we do actually have to acknowledge it. This is the time to do that.
Yeah, wonder if that would be in the agenda of the new government. Sadly, in the short time, first of all, Dr. Lubelski, thank you so much for joining us. Sadly, in the short time that we have, I want to give you the opportunity because you wanted to finish off with saying something in Armenian to our viewers, which,
Which most of them are Armenians, I'm sure.
All of them are Armenian,
okay.
But go for it.
So, first of all, I would like to use this opportunity to say thanks to our working team, the culture, which are David Gelfayan, Robert Ohanian, Knarik Vartanian, Knarik Menukian, and last but not least, Tater Vartanian.
Okay, but what is, and the line itself?
And I want to address the Armenian nation at this point of time. Հագելին կներ, ապրի 24-ի բոլորս հայ ժողովրդի զվարքներ մենք.
And that means?
That means in English, dear friends, on the 24th of April, we are all the sons and daughters of the Armenian people.
No, I think on that fine note we're gonna end this. And Arad, in your educated opinion, the next country to recognize this though really quickly as a genocide would be?
Probably the United States. It won't be Israel. I can tell you this. They are talking, it's not for Turkey now. Now they're talking about the relations with Azerbaijan, who opposes this too. Maybe we'll have some other opportunity to discuss it. Azerbaijan is very close to Iran.
To Iran. There you go. You threw that in. When we get back, something completely different, very different. I'm teasing it just with the visual. Do stay with us. First, the news. Welcome Welcome back. It is still Tuesday, April 21st, 2015. This is still the morning edition. I am still Yael Levi, and this is the new host of the show. Guri Gordon joins the I-24 News Morning Edition to replace me because I've had it. But no, the next item is all about this gorgeous, gorgeous little thing. It's all about, and for dog lovers actually, ever felt hopelessly bonded to your dog as I do right now? It's not my dog. When it stares so lovingly into your eyes, because you have food. It turns out that man's best friend may have hijacked a uniquely human bonding mechanism, ensuring that, yes, that's food, ensuring that we love and care for our canine companions similarly to the way that we bond with our children when we make eye contact or caress the objects. So, look at this. First of all, I'm doing a demonstration. Okay, and this is the cause that, well, he will look into my eyes if I give him this, but the cause is more complex. It's the same thing that we actually release when we fall in love. And a recent study by a team of Japanese, of course they're Japanese, by a team of Japanese scientists reported in the Journal of Science shows that the same mechanism happens to dogs and their owners, suggesting the bonding process probably co-involves in both humans and dogs as dogs became domesticated. Look at me. He's not looking. So first, here's a short clip to explain what we're talking about, and then we have an expert in the studio. Take a look.
They put dogs and their owners into the same room for 30 minutes and recorded everything that happened. They then tested the dog's urine, as well as the owners, to measure oxytocin levels in the two species. The researchers also performed this same experiment on wolves that had been raised by humans their whole lives. Nagasawa and the other researchers found that, after gazing into each other's eyes, both dog and owner had increased oxytocin levels in their urine. Wolves, however, did not.
To further discuss this, we're joined in studio by veterinarian Rafi Kishon. Rafi, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I think I may first of all explain to me, is this true? Do dogs really release, it's called
oxytocin.
Oxytocin in Americanese, okay, oxytocin. Have they learned that from us?
I mean, it's a automatic movement of the body. It's not something that you learn, but I mean, all the relationship between a human being and dogs,
right.
It's an ancient thing from the time of gatherer and collectors and
right.
Hunters, like 20,000 years ago, when human beings and wolves work together, let's say. The wolves were helping the people hunting, and people were helping the wolves, and together they were like one happy family.
Okay.
Yes?
That's how they became domesticated.
Yes, and all that's very important to understand. All the dogs are domesticated wolves. Also, this animal, this cute thing, his ancient
I have to introduce Guri for a second.
fathers were wolves.
Guri is part of the I-24 News family. He's the son of the editor-in-chief of the show, Guri Gordon. But I'm trying desperately to have him look into my eyes. But the thing that I'm wondering, though...
You are not his owner. He's the dog, because he was a wolf. The wolf is used to be in a family of wolves, in a, how you call it?
A pack.
A pack, exactly.
Yeah.
And they respect very much the wolves that are the alpha wolf. Yeah, Guri Alpha,
so
Guri Alfie, yes,
okay.
and they respect them, and they see them like father and mother, yes, and that's why the dogs feel so well in our family, in the human family, because they have the same relation, the old zoological relation that they had when they were wolves. It's something that is very deep inside the being of a dog and a wolf.
It's working. No, yeah. But you're saying this goes way back. That's in the dog's natures.
Yes.
In the dog nature, because I always thought. I mean, I have to say, I'm a cat person. I'm not. Cats don't do that, right?
No, cat is the opposite. He's a lonely ganger. Let's say he's alone. Let him do what he wants. And he's a freelance, yes?
He's like, just feed me and leave me alone.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's like a man.
You know.
But I know what, no. But with the dog, though, I'm wondering, did we, though, give attributes like this oxytocin, did we, though, not just like that, but did we give attributes to dogs, or they became more human because people are obsessed with owning dogs?
it's a procedure that, as I said, 20,000 years when we are together with the dogs, and we also breeded those dogs that are very friendly to us, and they live with us, like to be with us in the family. At the beginning, the relations were more practical. The dog's supposed to help us to hunt, to guard us, and to guard the sheep, let's say. But today, most of the people hold the dogs and cats as pets, as friends, as part of the family. So and that's why they breeded the dogs
I'm looking at Guri right now, and he doesn't look like a big gatherer or hunter. I mean, does he?
In his heart, still the old wolf is
beating
the heart of a wolf.
The heart of a
he's eyeing those trees.
He's eyeing he's wolfing these. Okay, but when it comes to dogs, and hold on, he loves me dearly, because the look in the dog's eyes, which is what the study says, that when they gaze into your eyes like this here. I mean, if I hold this in my mouth, which will be really disgusting, I won't do that. But, they gaze into your eyes lovingly. Isn't that just because they want food?
No, that's for sure not. Because,
really, sir? They love us that much?
For sure.
Look
once I said that the special in this relation is that the dogs are with us free-minded. They want to be with us. Somebody told me, no, you hold them with the leash, and they're like in a prison. They don't have free choice. I said to him, I made a scientific test. I took my dog Snoopy to the gate of the garden of our home. I opened the gate and said, Snoopy, you are free. You have the whole world. Go and run to the fields, to the forests. Snoopy felt the smell of freedom. She jumped, ran under my bed, and stayed there. So this scientific test shows that they are with us because they like to be with us.
Because I'm trying, Guri, kiss me.
They walk like 100 kilometers to come back to the home. And it's known that you can give a dog somebody that will give him food. He will eat there and come back to the family where he is, the family that he loves, the owner of him.
I still think Guri likes bacon more than he likes me, but there's that. Ami, I think it's a perfect time. Both of you are locked with us in studio. Wait, I might give you this so he moves to you.
Yes, exactly.
Hold that. Locked in studio. Oh, hey, Guri, don't slip. Yes. As we move to the web review, the spiral viral that is the web review. But Guri, I want to hear what you think about that. Yes, let's go for that.
Well, okay. Someone is going to have to close Guri's ears and eyes because I don't want him to see this one.
To see the following? Okay.
Because this is another item of cruelty against animals that is really popular
Glad we have Rafi with
on
us.
the web.
Yeah.
This one is a Texas veterinarian that shot a feral cat with an arrow through the head, and the picture is being posted and it's going really viral. This is a picture through all the web. Now, her name is Kristen Lindsay, and she posted this picture with the following caption: "My first bow kill, lol. The only good feral tomcat is one with an arrow through its head. Vet of the Year award gladly accepted."
She is a veterinarian?
This woman is a veterinarian.
Good that she is not a children doctor or something. Yes. Let's think what she can do with children.
Ouch.
It didn't take long for her employer to fire her the next day. She no longer has a job. She is not
No, at
working
least
anymore.
that. We want to promise Guri. We will never shoot
I hope he
you
wasn't
with
watching.
one arrow.
I hope Guri didn't see
No.
that.
I want just to say a remark that stray cats, at least in Israel, they have a very important a job in keeping Israel clean of rodents, clean of snakes.
It's very true.
That's why.
That's why we never shoot them with a bow and arrow.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why we never go around killing the cats of Tel Aviv. Yes.
We all know what doppelgangers are, right?
Yes, I do.
Who is your doppelganger when you put it on that week in Facebook?
It was actually the chick with the chin. Hold on. The chick with the chin was. Come on.
Well, until you get it,
yes.
I usually put up Bruce Willis. But lately, I've been getting comments all the time that I look like Naftali Bennett. But that's another thing. But three people from Ireland just launched this thing on the web on March 30th. It's called the Twin Strangers Project, and they tried to find their real-life doppelgangers. They have a month to do it, and they go look all around the world, and they try to find these people. And the first woman who found it of this trio, her name is Niam, met her first twin. Now take a look at this.
Oh my Lord! And we have a
look
video
at
of
that.
this?
I think we still. I think we have a video.
Let's take a look.
Oh, that's good. You're really quick. crazy. Sorry. So guys, this is it. Makeup and hair. What do you think?
Oh my lord.
Isn't that weird? They've
Very
never
weird.
known each other.
They've never known each other. They're not related.
Not related at all.
And they look exactly alike.
They live very far away.
I'm actually very much hoping to meet somebody that looks very much like me so she, can wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And there's that. Gooey is a star. Yes, what else?
There's this story, nice little story from Jezebel about a British couple that bought a purple beanie, which is like a little baby doll or something, at a flea market in the UK for about $15. And it turns out that it's worth almost $100,000.
Again,
this is
never happens to us, Rafi.
This little purple bear thing. It was made in honor of Princess Diana after her death in 1997, and they only made 100 of those.
Yeah.
They are worth a lot of money now, and they just they're going to sell this couple. They're going to sell it on eBay. They're starting with a 20.
This belonged to Princess Diana.
Well, no, they made it.
They made it
100.
Oh, right, it's one of those memorabilia. So basically,
memorabilia, exactly.
Anything that's being made right now for the baby in England, if we keep it and save it for 20 years,
exactly,
that's a startup, Mommy.
Right,
it's a total startup.
We'll have to go to England and try to buy something.
Exactly. Don't tell Gooey just heard. I'm still trying to French kiss Gooey.
Moving on to another viral video. I love these videos. I'm kind of kitschy. I love these videos of the soldiers.
I mean,
you don't know that.
Yeah.
Of the American, soldiers who come home from war in Iraq and they kind of like surprise their relatives. You see a lot of these videos on the web. This is a nice one about a dad who surprised. You know how Americans really love their school photo shoots.
And we have that video. And soldier dad surprised his son.
And this is how he did it. He photobombed his.
Oh my God!
There he is.
Oh
the kid is getting his photo shoot,
oblivious.
and then he sees it. And he doesn't know. He sees it that his dad is behind him.
Come on, turn around, honey. Turn around. Turn around.
Turn around.
Turn around.
Oh, there he goes.
There you go. Oh.
It's a really big video. I love that stuff. I'm sorry, I love that stuff.
Yes, you are kitschy, honey.
I am kitschy.
Yeah, I think even Gooey is actually mesmerized. Look, Rafi.
Now,
Gooey likes,
We have time for some more, right? One
yes,
more.
We do. Please.
In stark contrast to that type of fatherhood, we have a different type of father, and this one is a famous former soccer player, David Beckham, and his son Brooklyn. The son of David and Victoria
How old
Beckham.
Is Brooklyn
Brooklyn is now 16 years old. And Brooklyn is a kind of celebrity in his own making. He has already 1 million Instagram followers. And when he reached,
Why?
I do not know, but when he reached this number, he posted a video and his dad kind of showed him who's boss. Let's see what happens.
Let's take a look. Gooey?
So it's my mum's birthday today. Okay, I just reached 1 million followers. I've got 52.
Okay.
I've got 1 million followers, and then David says, "Well, I've got 52." I mean,
yeah, that's kind of a relationship between a dad and a kid that I don't want to be part of.
Right.
Yeah. Moving on.
Moving on. Our last item is, I'm a Top Gear fan. We already talked about this.
Yes. Rafi, do you know Top Gear?
Yes.
Well, Jeremy Clarkson again had some more remarks about the show. Interestingly enough, he said that he learned that he had a cancer scare 2 days before this big fracas where he punched his producer in the face and caused him a cut in the lip.
Oh, that's low. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sorry. Come on.
I kind of agree with that. It's not an excuse to hit someone in the face.
He said he had a cancer scare 2 days before Top Gear.
Yeah.
Before he hit somebody. Okay.
He hit somebody, but he did promise again that he will create another show. He said, "I have lost my baby, but I shall create another. I don't know who the other parent will be or what the baby will be."
Or what the baby will be. Okay. On that note, I have to say that first of all, Guri does not agree with that. Here's the thing, Rafi, I want to ask you about dogs. Do we stand a chance? I mean, you hosted a show, Animals and Smiles, that was in Israel. Yeah. Do we stand a chance that one day a dog can, host an entire show alone? I'm wondering out loud. I'm thinking.
I think Guri's ready.
That is my dream, actually, to understand what they really think, what they really would say if they could talk. I mean, we understand the main meaning. I'm happy, I'm afraid. We can understand the language of dogs, but really understand this can be very interesting.
I agree. I'm always wondering because if I look at Gooey and I just touch his stomach and he just gave a big sigh, and I have a feeling that his inner voice is now saying, "Why am I here? Somebody please save me."
He looks very.
He looks happy. He looks content. Then we might actually have Gooey. He looks content. He's about to jump off the table. We might actually move. Gooey's going to put us through to the next item. Do stay with us. I'm trying to do this. We have superheroes coming up. Stay with I-24 News. First, the news. There we go. I-24 Morning Edition, April 21st, the place to be because you get to see dogs and these guys.
I can't. Following a tough act.
Yeah, really?
It's very.
I
can't compete with dogs. I wish I was a dog right now. I do.
But we will put you up to the task of competing with the dog. I think that Shai Ringel's always terrified of what will be the first line I will say. I know, and that would be Shai Ringel of the Tube magazine, correspondent Shai Ringel, with anything and everything that's trending in the digital world, and he's going to take it away. Yes.
Okay, I want to talk about an organization called Internet.org, which is an organization that Facebook launched a year and a half ago, and their declared mission was to bring internet to developing countries and to areas that don't have any internet connection.
But before we continue, because it's a fascinating subject, I want to take a look at the advertisement that Mark Zuckerberg came out with before he was bringing internet to the third world countries. Let's have a look.
I think I'm one of the lucky guys that have managed to access this free service, and it has awakened a dream in me. I feel a very good impact it will make on our people.
Before I started using internet, finding information was difficult. But with the use of internet.org, I can easily post online and get feedback from professionals working within the sector.
The internet has so much information about what's going on in the world, what's new. Facebook, networking with people, meeting different people, it's empowering.
Okay, what was that?
That was Facebook trying to explain why people needs the internet and how it can change their lives.
Okay.
Now, it's a great cause and it's a great idea, but Facebook...
You don't seem happy.
No, but
okay.
Facebook are being very manipulative about it because by bringing internet to developing countries, they are bringing internet, but they are bringing
themselves.
The Facebook internet.
Themselves.
And
how are they? First of all, explain to me how they're going to do that. What is Internet.org?
There's a couple of things they're doing, but they are developing a couple of technologies. But if we're talking about these days, in India, there's an Internet.org application that Facebook already paid cellular companies for them to work, which means that you don't need any service provider. You don't need any data plan on your service provider. All you need is just to open the internet.org and you have an internet. But you have the internet that Facebook paid for, which means you have Facebook and you have other couple of websites that Facebook, like Bing. Instead of Google, they have Bing because Microsoft has some stocks in Facebook. And this means that if you're in India and you're poor, you'll get the internet that Facebook paid you to get. And this is a violation of net neutrality.
Right.
Net neutrality, to those who don't know the subject, is when we want to make every website the same, every package the same. No website has benefits over another website.
Which in this case, it clearly is a violation of net neutrality. But who's stopping? Then here's a question to you: If Facebook does that, and I think the clear point is the whole notion of them bringing in their package into developing countries, into poor people who can't choose. We get it. Who stops them?
Okay. 750,000 people, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
already signed a letter to the regulator in India to stop that. And
that's not that many people, I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
Out of India, yeah.
It's unprecedented because we are talking about a huge power that brings free stuff to people.
To people which they will take.
Yeah, and politicians are starting to get involved, and news outlets are pulling out of internet.org because they are concerned that Facebook will have demands of them in order for them to be still on that application.
On that application.
Yeah, and
I'd like to play
Chime in,
devil's advocate for a second, because I'm usually like really pro net neutrality and against the big corporations, but like
owning that too. But
is having Facebook internet better than having no internet for these people?
It's an interesting question because in a lot of cases, no, it's not. It's Facebook controlling those people. They will have the first step. It's a very good step. They'll have some internet access.
Yeah, they have a corporate connection to the world.
Yeah, but you can claim that there's a racism here because you are bringing a specific internet for poor people, and you are bringing a better and wider and opener internet to rich people.
But who can pay for it? I mean,
yeah,
if Coca-Cola wants to make people drink, they'll give people free Coca-Cola. They won't give people Pepsi.
You are considering internet as just a product. It's not just a product. It's a medium.
Maybe it has become just a product.
That's one of the problems.
I think we all wanted it to be.
This is one of the fights the internet has to win at this point, because this is net neutrality. Net neutrality thinks of the internet as not just a product, but as a necessity, which brought the human civilization one step further when we think about the information age. This is the internet, and we cannot bring the information age just to rich people. We need to think about how to bring it to developing countries.
And that's everybody's job, not Facebook's job.
Yeah, and Facebook stepping up and bringing their money into those countries is a problem that we need to solve, because this is not just, it's an American company coming to developing countries with the huge money that they made in the West and saying, okay,
and giving a service for free while controlling the agenda of that service. Sadly, it's capitalism. But it's capitalism that has seemed to have won, the agenda of the modern world. But Shai, it's an interesting debate. I'm all for hating Mark Zuckerberg, because he's younger than me and he's made way more money, and that is very, very upsetting. But it's a valid point, and sadly, all the time we have for this.
Yeah.
But you are in studio because we're going to fight about something else.
Okay.
And with that, we're moving to Avri Rosenzweig.
Hi.
Love that color on you.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
I will be your host for today. What do you have for us?
Well, as I keep saying, it's a really good time to be a geek here in this year.
I'm married to somebody who keeps claiming that for like 5 years. Okay, why is it good to be a geek?
Okay, real quick, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to start with Star Wars.
Yes!
Star Wars. Yeah. So this week... This week in Anaheim was the annual Star Wars celebration.
It's all happening. Yeah, okay.
Which closed yesterday. Star Wars celebration, where a massive Star Wars fan dressed as their favorite Darth Vader or Princess Leia.
Guilty, yes.
There was like a few, you see like a group of Leias walking together. But it was of course it's been happening annually for a few years in Anaheim, but this one was special because in December we're going to get the new Star Wars movie by J.J. Abrams.
Which is a sequel rather than a prequel, and we have a trailer, and let's take a look at it.
Okay, let's
so I can jump up and down.
Oh, okay.
Trailer. Chewie. We didn't see Chewie. Are you kidding me? Okay, I cannot believe you came off of it.
They unveiled the trailer. Another teaser trailer, we should say. It's not the trailer. We have like a bunch of teasers these days.
That was a teaser. I saw Chewie online. I saw Chewie on the web. Chewie looks great.
Chewie looks great. Han Solo looks really old.
Han Solo is really old.
What? I don't know what happened.
78.
I don't happen. They couldn't give him like a facelift, like a CGI facelift, make him look a little bit. You know who looks awful? Mark Hamill, but that's another story.
That's a different
story.
So
bad.
I don't even know why, but yeah, that's a completely different story. Yeah.
So they unveiled this, and the excitement is so big. Even Japan Airlines, God, I love the Japanese. They're unveiling a plane.
Sorry, I'm trying to get a rise out of Shy Ring. You're just sitting here like, oh, there's minions.
Look at this! Look at this plane. It's a plane that looks like R2-D2.
Oh, that is phenomenal! I want to be on that plane. I want to be on that plane.
That is a plane for a Japanese.
That is phenomenal.
I've never seen you like this. This is a whole new side of it.
I saw Star Wars, the first one. I'll give you that in New York when I was 7. It was a life-changing experience that got me thus far. Yes.
We also had this weekend the trailer for Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice.
You start jumping up and down.
No, he does not.
No,
it was really bad.
Really?
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah, we have a trailer.
It's a really bad trailer. We can look at visuals. Okay, fine.
Yeah, let's watch it.
The world has been so caught up with what he can do that no one has asked what he should do.
That's how it starts. The fever, the rage, the feeling of powerlessness that turns good men cruel.
Starring Ben Affleck, the slave owner.
More brooding
talk
Batman.
really slowly and really like this, you have a DC movie.
Aha!
It's going to be
It's like they're thinking we have to go so dark.
Yeah, how dark did they go? That they? I mean, the first thing I saw Ben Affleck and this big brooding thing about him that apparently his ancestors were slave owners.
Yeah,
that's the Sony Pictures leak.
That's really dark.
Yeah,
right there.
The Sony Pictures leak that he tried to stop it from coming out when he was doing a show revealing his roots.
I know my pop, but so maybe that's the dark bit. But that looks like, I'm sorry, it looks a bit like a parody.
It does. I mean, Zack Snyder, the director, has this tendency to go over the top and sort of. You keep wanting to brighten up the screen when you watch his movies.
Like,
you're like, this is too dark. I can't see.
I can't see anything. Yeah.
But Superman was never supposed to be this dark. He's like the big blue Boy Scout. He was never supposed to be like this.
Batman, yes, maybe. Batman had tendencies,
Batman, yes, but
Batman
not Superman.
Saw his parents die in front of him. Batman's got this psychological baggage.
And they're trying.
Superman also has a psychological baggage.
But he came from another planet.
His parents also died when he was a child.
Yeah.
He knew them. He was
No, he
looking
didn't
for
know
them.
them. He was too small to know them.
Yeah.
And then he had a great joyride.
Superman has a whole other secret history, which was that he was created by 2 Jewish guys during the Holocaust, and it was sort of this.
I think that's even too dark. I think that might be even too soon.
It was a parable for them about immigration and being the weak person in the new world, and they're sort of fantasized about having Superman, but he became a symbol of something else. We're not looking.
The Avengers, guys. Okay,
Okay, so last night we had a press screening of the Avengers.
Both
Age of
men
Ultron,
attended.
and I loved it.
And I hated it.
I thought it was so good. I mean, the action is amazing.
Okay, let's quickly watch the trailer, and then they'll take their shirts off and fight it out. Let's watch the trailer.
Artificial intelligence. It's called the Ultron program. I'm sick of watching people pay for our mistakes. Isn't why we fight so we can end the fight and go home?
Well, you amazingly failed.
Who's Scarlett Johansson kissing there?
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. Okay.
What the trailer doesn't show is that the movie is immensely funny. It's really, really funny. It has so many jokes. Like
I don't see Shai Ringel laughing.
Shai Ringel is a joyless, happyless man, and it's sad. Really, it's sad that he can't enjoy the simple things in life, like robots.
Like a really bad movie that has nothing to do with one part and the second part, and there's like you can't understand anything, and their entire excuses is always I had a vision. In my vision, I have to put my hammer here and create.
He's talking about like one piece of the movie, which he talked about before the movie, and like it was glorious superhero action.
I have to say, listen, for all the viewers of I-24 News, there's the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, and then there's this, and we will bring you updates.
For someone who knows how to write scripts, what?
Oh wait, that's it. We have no time. It's something about Mati Kaspi, I think.
Yes. On Thursday, on Culture, we're going to be airing a special show with Mati Kaspi, one of Israel's prominent singers, songwriters.
There's peace in the Middle East. Yeah. Wow.
It turned out really, really well, and everybody.
No, he's a big.
Really?
I'm very, 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 very much looking forward to seeing this. Lovely. Avri, do not fight it in the studio all the time that we have. Don't forget I-24 News Morning Edition. Check us out tomorrow morning, and of course along those social websites, Facebook, Twitter, whatnot, and tune in tomorrow morning for another edition because Shai Ringel and Avi Rosenzweig will be here without shirts fighting it out. Thank you.